say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We'd like to welcome you to our memorial today, our Caltrans Memorial. My name is Ron Jones. I'm your Master of Ceremonies for this morning. I work for CBS 13. It's a CBS affiliate up here in Sacramento. And let me tell you, it is truly an honor for me to be here today. Every year in the U.S., more highway workers are killed than police officers and firefighters combined. In fact, according to federal labor statistics, highway construction maintenance is one of the country's most dangerous jobs. And unfortunately, one of our Caltrans workers became a statistic, and we are here to honor him today and his family, Mr. Mui Tran. We should also mention that there are family members representing loved ones who have lost their lives in the line of duty that goes back as far as 1971. They are here today. Let's give them a round of applause. But as you can see, the banner up there, our Slow for the Cone Zone campaign is working. It's been around for a decade now, and those numbers have been reduced, making our highways and byways a lot safer. So that's the upside, that's the positive side. But we must keep that trend going so that this same time next year, we will not be able to add one more person to that role. I would like now to introduce to you the Director of Caltrans, Mr. Will Kempton.
We do want to honor the family members. This is tremendous attendance. 106 family members from our lost employees are here today, as Ron indicated. That is a tremendous participation. You add a degree of honor, dignity, and solemnity to the occasion that we could not otherwise achieve. Caltrans employees do risk injury every day, often toiling within inches of traffic that's moving very quickly. 171 Caltrans employees have died since 1924. This year, Mui Tran was killed. He was a District 2 worker but lived in the Bay Area. You'll see these cones out in front of us. They're shaped like an orange caution sign if you were looking from above. There is a cone for every one of those 171 Caltrans and Department of Transportation employees killed over the years. It is risky business out there, whether for the workers on the highways or our bridges, across the streets and roads of this state. Take a look at the truck behind you, the one over there. It was involved in a massive collision in a work zone. It was struck by a semi. The bed of the truck flew the length of a football field. The survivor, John Roseberry, is here today. Note the damaged attenuator. A motorist struck that crash cushion at approximately 55 miles per hour. The device crumpled like an accordion, as it's designed to do. It saved the lives of 2 highway workers, and the driver walked away. Our message today to the public is simple. When you see those cones out there, when you see a Caltrans vehicle parked along the side of the roadway, steer clear. move over a lane, slow for the cone zone. It is my hope that next year we will gather to remember our fallen workers, but we will add no additional cones to the caution sign that you see before you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for recognizing and remembering the 171 workers that have lost their lives in the line of duty.
Right now, we'd like to introduce you to Mr. Dale Bonner.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I want to start by expressing my deepest condolences to all of the families and loved ones of all of those who are being honored here this morning. As Will mentioned, since 1924, 171 workers have lost their lives in service to the state. 3 of these incidents occurred during my first year in office alone, when we lost DeJuan Bush, John Knabenbauer, and Matthew White, and as you heard most recently, Moy Tron. He and others before him were fine human beings, just doing their jobs, serving the state of California, trying to make life easier for you and for me. And so we owe it to all of the fallen workers and their families to continue to do all that we can to make these work zones as safe as possible. And so we're all unified in this effort to try and hold the line and make sure that we don't lose another worker in the line of duty. And everybody has a very, very important role to play, and that's why it's encouraging to see not just so many families and supporters here today, but also so many members of the media and state and federal agencies who are going to help and get the message out to everybody that we really need to slow down and pay attention and slow in the cone zone. As I have said before, I think this is the best way to honor those who have lost their lives in the past, the best way to assure their families and loved ones that their loss has not been in vain, and it's the best way to ensure the future safety of the women and men who continue to do this very, very dangerous work for the benefit of all of us in California and across the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary Bonner. Now I'd like to introduce to you the California Division Administrator of the Federal Highway Administration, Butch Waterlick.
Good morning. The Federal Highway Administration, in conjunction with our partners, is committed to improving safety for everyone within work zones, especially the workers who dedicated their lives to provide safer highways for all of us. Safety on America's highways is at record levels. We've had a 17% decrease nationally in work zone fatalities from previous years. However, there was still over 800 work zone fatalities that could have been avoided. Any fatality is too many. With the enactment of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act and the anticipation of an increased number of work zones nationwide, we're going to be focusing our resources on work zone safety more now than ever. Maybe my message to the public: it's an important thing to note that 4 out of 5 victims in highway work zones are the drivers themselves, not the workers. Ultimately, the responsibility rests on the driver. There's no substitute for responsible driving. So when you're in a work zone, slow down, avoid distractions, and pay attention to the vehicle ahead of you. Simple things like these will actually mean the difference between life and death. Always be alert in the cone zone. We know and have seen, with your help, we can reduce fatalities, serious injuries, and crashes in work zones. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now to the podium, the Honorable Alan Lowenthal. He's the chair of the Senate Transportation and Housing Committee.
Thank you, and I'm honored to be participating in a day to remember. Last year, I carried and authored SB 1509, which enhances the penalties against those who would assault Caltrans workers and contractors who work besides them on the highways and freeways. The bill set fines of $2,000 for assault and battery on freeway workers. Proud to say the governor signed this bill, and this has been the first step towards improving the work environment of highway workers. Again, I want to tell you how honored I am to participate today, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Also coming up to the stage is the director of the Joint Engineering Division of the Associated General Contractors and a friend of mine, Sam Hassoun.
Good morning. Thank you, Ron. On behalf of the 800,000 men and women who make their living in the construction industry in California, I too am very privileged to lend my voice to the very important cause that we have today and offer my condolences to the families of our fallen workers. Construction activity is a very important activity and the foundation for the California economy. It is a symbol of healthy growth and prosperity that shows that we are building a brighter future, not only for ourselves, but also for our future generation. Driving safely in our work zone is everyone's job. More than anything, families feel the loss of their loved ones, and no family should suffer this tragic loss. The ripples of how many lives are touched by these senseless tragedies are reflected in the posters that are drawn by the families, the children and the grandchildren. Each poster reflects not only the danger to the family members that face, but also illuminates on how important family is to them and how important family is to all of us. So please, I urge you, through your contacts, through your neighbors, through your influences, to slow for the cone zone and to encourage all the people that you impact and touch to please slow for the work zone. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sam. And finally to the podium, I would like to introduce to you George Swift. He's the director of the International Union of Operating Engineers, State Union 12.
Thank you. We gather today to honor our fallen workers, recognize the loss that their families have to endure. These heroes who put their life on the line every day on these state highways to make them safer for our traveling public. Unfortunately, deaths and accidents come with this job, and they continue to rise. Last year, 729 Caltrans vehicles were struck along the side of the road, and accidents not the fault of a Caltrans worker. Of those, 55 workers were injured, and of course we had one tragedy. We are doing something with the legislature to try to reduce these. The operating engineers are always working with Caltrans in order to keep their workers safe. And we want to thank them for their efforts, and we hope that you folks will give our efforts in contacting your legislature and the governor to get these bills signed this year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and we'd like to thank all of our speakers here today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to announce the ceremonial cone and wreath presentations featuring the Caltrans Honor Guard, District 3 Amazing Grace, soloist Timothy Weeks, and Staff Sergeant Bill Tubbs of the 191st U.S. Army Band from Dublin. And we ask that everyone please stand for this particular ceremony. The one thing we should point out, folks, is the one cone represents the recent fallen worker, Mui Tran, and the second cone represents all the fallen highway workers across the nation.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first